So I'm Matt Ruddick. I'm the multirotor associate editor here at the Academy of Model Aeronautics, and today I've got the Acro Bee from Newbie Drone. So I really have always liked the products coming out of the Newbie Drone factory, and especially the Bee Brain stuff. They've had a real knack for coming up with products that could take Betaflight and adapt it down to a brushed quad like this, and you just have so much control over every bit of the way you fly, whether it's changing your PIDs in Betaflight, changing your rates, that sort of thing. You have full acro mode on this, which was kind of the first real product out there that could give you that full acro experience on such a small platform. The other thing that I think is just really super cool about the Bee Brain is how easy it is to put together. If you're going to assemble it on your own as opposed to buying a pre-built version of it, it's completely plug and play. There's no soldering that has to be done. It's just super simple. You could have this thing up in the air in less than 10 minutes. So it's just a really dynamite product in my opinion. I think I would absolutely recommend this to someone who's new, especially somebody that doesn't want to have to spend a lot of time figuring out how to fix components, and if they have a crash and the camera goes out or the VTX goes out, it's a pretty simple replacement because it uses plugs. It doesn't require you to solder some really tiny little pads like you do on some other micro drones. That's really, I think, what sets this apart, especially for a beginner. And because it runs off of Betaflight, you have a lot of room to kind of grow along with it. So, once you are pivoted flying for a few months down the road, you're ready to kind of get into Betaflight and learn what some of those different settings can do and customize it to the way you want it to feel like. This allows you to do that, and that's one of the reasons that I recommend this to a lot of beginners that I talk to. The flying characteristics of the Acro Bee, really, it's just so locked in. It feels like such a locked in quad. It certainly has kind of its drawbacks as far as getting into prop wash, but that's pretty standard with all of these types of micro brushed quads. But its ability to take corners super well, it cuts like a knife through the air. It really does. It's got a ton of speed, feels really stable. It's just a really good all-around quad. I can even fly this outside without a whole lot of problem. Of course, wind is a factor because of its weight, but I've had a lot of success with doing that. So these Acro Bees you can get one for about $99 if you want the kit that you would put together for yourself. If you want one that's pre-built, they run about $120. You can get them in both DSMX or Spectrum versions, as well as Free Sky for Tyrannus users and that sort of thing. So they support everybody, which is kind of nice, and it's really just a dynamite product, and I would recommend everybody check it out.
My name is Dylan Carpenter, and I'm the creative producer for digital media at the Academy of Model Aeronautics, and today I am flying the Alien Whoop Zero. Alien Whoop is one of the new manufacturers in the realm of micro drones, and their Alien Whoop Zero is actually one of the new flight controllers that have come out. And since I've seen guys flying these, it's just such a different flight experience that you're used to seeing with a small micro drone such as this. The amount of control that you have with the craft just surpasses anything else that I've flown. A lot of times with the other kinds of micro drones, if you descend really quickly or if you just get out of a quick maneuver, the drone has a tendency to waffle in the air or descend, lose altitude really quickly. But the thing about the Alien Whoop that I've noticed is that they're able to do more advanced maneuvers than your typical tiny whoop or any other style of micro drone, and they're not limited by those factors that usually come along with tiny whoops or drones of this size. So you can do split S's, tight split S's, flips and rolls and power loops even with these, and not have minimal, if at all, side effects on prop wash and losing altitude. A lot of that is due in part to the custom firmware that is on these F-Zero boards. So it's been coded from the ground up. The way that it handles in the air is just unsurpassed by anything else I've flown before. The great thing about the Alien Whoop is it comes bind and fly. It comes pre-coded, it comes pre-programmed. All you have to do is bind it to your Spectrum, FlySky, FreeSky, and even Futaba radios, and you can just fly right out of the box. The ability to fly these with different radio protocols than we've seen previously is a big plus. So any of you Futaba users out there that are looking in to get in tiny whoops, this is your drone. When I first started flying this, I was blown away by the amount of power that this thing generates, and like I said, how well it handles in the air. You're able to make tight maneuvers, corners with this, and you're able to go at a speed, drop speed fairly quickly around the corners, and then pick it right back up again without very much outside interference as far as prop wash or the flight controller taking a moment to react. It's all very snappy. It's a very quick flight controller. It flies very smoothly, and just all in all, it's a really good package for somebody just getting into micro drones to start out with. And I really do recommend giving the Alien Whoop a shot and checking it out for yourself. You can also buy the flight controller just by itself, so if you already have a functioning tiny whoop that you're looking to upgrade, you can put the flight controller right on it, and it works with components that you already have laying around if you're looking to upgrade. And really, just with micro drones in general, it doesn't really matter what you fly, but you just want something that you're able to get up in the air with your friends and have a good time flying around your home or the office or anywhere you might go and meet up with them. And this is definitely a drone that you can do that with.
So I'm Chris Savage. I work here at the Academy of Model Aeronautics, and today I had a lot of fun being at work and flying my FPV Inductrix Pro. This quad in particular has been really good for me because I'm not terribly skilled as a pilot. I know that might be hard to imagine after you saw my flight footage. It's really versatile, so it's got plenty of speed for me. It runs on Betaflight, so I've got a lot of opportunities to continue to tweak that setup as I get to be a better pilot. It's plenty durable, so I've had more than my fair share of accidents with this guy, and he keeps on trucking along. And it looks cool. So, when I get together and I fly with somebody like Matt, who's got all the latest and greatest coolest stuff, I still feel like I've got something that looks good with the rest of the flight crew. So the FPV Inductrix Pro, you can get this now for less than $100, which is awesome. I had goggles already and I had a radio already, so it's a bind and fly model. So for less than $100, I've got a quad that I can grow with. It's very suitable for me right now as I get started, and it's plenty durable to last me a long time. I've had this model now for over a year, and I've been really happy with it. It's plenty fast enough for me. Super fast, very nimble as it gets into some of its more advanced modes, but it also has safe. So it helps me keep myself out of trouble as I grow my skill set. Because it is so inexpensive and it is so easy to fly, several of us here at work have been able to pick these up, and it's been a ton of fun, especially in the colder weather, to be able to come in after hours here at the office, get together and fly and have a lot of fun without having to be so concerned that we've got a lot of really expensive equipment that we're trying to protect. It's been tons of fun to just get together and blast around the office after hours with these.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and I work at the Academy of Model Aeronautics, and my micro drone of choice is the TWR, or the Tiny Whoop Racer. It's fairly durable, fairly fast, and a lot of fun to fly. This is probably my drone of choice just because of the speed capability that it has. It still uses the traditional Inductrix flight controller, and I actually got my start first with a Inductrix, but determined that I wanted to go a little bit faster. The speed, the more powerful motors gives it a little more control as you're flying through gates and around courses. This particular quad is actually the official Tiny Whoop quad. It's great to have because it's customizable in tons of different colors. It's easy to get started with because you can get it all ready to fly, and it binds straight to a Spectrum radio. Using the simplicity of the Inductrix flight controller, you bind it and you're ready to go. You don't have to do any tuning or any modifications to it. So anyone really starting out with this is probably the best option. I enjoy how easy this is to control. There's 3 flight modes available, so it will grow with you as your skills improve. I'm still improving my skills, so I keep it in as simple as possible for the most part, but I have begun branching out into the more aerobatic mode, which allows full control. It's harder, but it's fun to learn and figure out as you go. Overall, I love Tiny Whoop, and I love the products they come up with. They've really stepped up their customization. As you can see, this is gorgeous and all matching, and as mentioned before, they have a variety of colors and looks to pick from. So if you like customizing your flights or your aircraft, they're a good place to start. Depending on the customization you want to go with color-wise for your Tiny Whoop, you can get started for as low as $100, or depending on the color choices, up to $140.